Okay, guys, this is where we're going. So this is an old map from about 1850s. We're going to be launching about this area right here. And we're on kayak all the way down through here. And there used to be a gristmill here. Then we're going to go all the way up through here. And this area over here is actually where we're going to be metal detecting in about a week. But I wanted to kayak through it because the property dates back, the whole farm, the original home site dates back to 1813. And I just wanted to go through here in the kayak because this is actually a creek and maybe we can find some stuff. And I just want to check it out because I was reading and they said back like about 1830, they didn't even have a bridge and they just crossed the creek and one of the low spots in it. So I don't know where that's at. I just know it's south of the main house. And this is the main house, so it's got to be down here somewhere. So hopefully I'll be able to find it. And that's what we're going to be doing today. And of course, the area I got permissions up here at the top. So this is like a big cornfield now. And you can see how there used to be two houses in there. Well, this is what I got permission for. But it's huge. It'll take me a long time to detect it. But I'm hoping to start next weekend. And this is not the same place that we were going to down by Circleville in that Indian village. I basically got this permission yesterday, so I'm just going to stick with it. I'm not going to worry about the other one until we get this done. And there's like a couple other places. There's an old graveyard over here, and down from it, there's a school. So over in here, there used to be a school. I don't know if you can see it on it. See how there used to be a school right here? So this area here is all township property. So I think I can go in here and metal detect without even getting permission. I mean, this is showing a road, but I think the road's in a different spot than it was back then. So we got this big area over here to do, plus this area here, plus we got the creek to explore. But today I'm going to go over and check out this creek. And there's actually a park down here and a launch area. So I'll get back to you when we get in the water. Okay, guys, we just launched from the launch area. And here's that bridge. But I'm not for sure on that map if that's a bridge or maybe this could have been the crossing. Because they said it was south of the homestead. I mean, and they didn't say how far. So it could have just been, it could have been here. I'm not for sure. But we're going to find out because we're on a kayak all the way up. Hopefully we can get up there without having to get out. Because it's the same thing. I've never been here before. But this is the bridge here. So if that is a bridge, that means there was a bridge here before. But I don't see anything, you know, that shows that there was an older bridge here. Other than when I got in, because I got in and there was I backed down up in there, got my kayak and I pulled up and there was some dude sitting there. For some reason he drove down there, he stood there and watched me for the whole time. It was kind of weird. So I don't know if he was just curious of what I was doing. I don't know. It was just weird that he just sat there in his truck watching me the whole time. I flipped the camera around and get him on camera, but I was like, nah. But I'll get back to you guys as soon as we get down, because I got the map on my phone and I'm gonna go down, and each time I get somewhere where I can identify it, I'll stop and turn the camera back on and let you guys know. Okay guys, we reached our first get out of the kayak. We didn't even go that far. Look, the bridge is right there. So basically I'm just on a walk down along here, and then after we get past this, we'll get back in. But you can tell if I come down that side over there, on the way back, we're just on a cruise down through here. So the deeper water is over that way. So when we come back, we'll just scoot right through there, and it shouldn't take us that long to get back to the truck. But I mean, we still have a ways that we haven't went very far. But I'll get back to you guys as soon as we get on to where I think that mill's at. And so far, as you look, you can see how the banks are. So they're real high. There's some kind of piping and stuff in here, but someone probably just threw that stuff down there. It's actually, so far, I mean, it seems pretty clean, you know, so it ain't like people are back here throwing crap in the water. Some of the places I go to, there's concrete and there's all kinds of crap. That's the first thing I've seen is those pipes. But I'll get back to you guys as soon as I come across something that I think where that grist mill was. Well, I think it's the same thing. It was a sawmill is what it was, but I'll let you know when I come up on it. Okay guys, we just come around that turn. So this is basically where the mill was located right here.
I just parked the kayak over here because that first bit that we went through, man, that was a pain in the butt because I actually, some of that water was knee deep. So I ended up doing a lot of wading because I couldn't, the current was too rough to get back in and paddle, so I just basically had to wade through it. Lucky today, it's probably about, it's in the 50s, high 50s. So basically in here is where the mill was. I thought there'd be like a canal or something that would come in here. I'm sure there was, but you're talking, you know, this is almost 200 years ago. But I don't see any remains or anything. I don't even see anything on the ground. I don't trip and fall. But there was like a low spot over here. Maybe they had the little canal came in here. But like I said, I'm not for sure of how it was even in here because I've never seen it. I mean, it could have had the wheel out here, just sitting right here. And this was, you know, on that map, if you notice, it says river. Well, now it's just a creek. So maybe there was more water in here. Maybe the wheel was just right out here on the water. And of course, nothing's left of it. I mean, I'm sure if you got in here with a metal detector, you might find stuff. But like I said, I mean, I didn't go on the other app, so I'm not for sure if I might be trespassing. You know what I mean? This might be this might be private property. I'm not for sure of that. I don't see anything on the ground. You know, just modern trash, but all this stuff probably we just washed in here. So there were just cans and stuff on the ground. That's why I was hoping too, you know, to come in and maybe I could find, because when I was a kid, I used to go fishing and I found bottle dumps, but now they're gone. So I went back to those places and they're all gone. So they either went in and cleaned them up or they just, you know, filled them with dirt or something. I don't know what happened to all the stuff unless people took it. But there was a couple places I used to fish at and there was like a whole area just full of old bottles, you know, medical bottles and stuff. But I went back and they're all gone now. But as you can see, I'm gonna have to walk all the way down through here. I'm pretty sure on the way back we can just cruise back. But like I said, that's why I do it this way, because I'd rather work my way upstream when I'm rested than to do it on the way back, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there's no launch area up there, and the homeowner or the person I got permission off, they said that people over there don't like people parking down there and putting their boats in. So that's why I didn't do it. And they actually told me where to go. So I wasn't gonna go down there and piss off a bunch of people, especially after I just got permission. And I'm sure it's all, you know, everything over here is, you know, it's all family. Everybody's related and stuff. You know, their families have been here for a long time. I mean, almost all of them. Even the caretaker of the graveyard, he was in his 80s and his dad grew up here too. So he told me a lot of information. But I'm gonna get back to basically dragging. I was gonna say kayaking, but I'm gonna get back to dragging, then I'll go up, then the next location I'll stop and show you where we're at. But we're pretty close. It really wasn't a long route. It's just, you know, the water's shallow. But honestly, if you was going down, if you came here and canoed or kayak downstream, it would be great. I would have never had to get out of the water. But like I said, when the current's moving like this, there's no way I can paddle up that. There was a couple spots back there I actually made it through, but there's no way you can paddle up that. It'll just start, and a lot of times then you have to worry in the water. Like I said, I've been in the water, I'm wet, but it's not real cold, but it's not something I want to be in, you know what I mean? But I'll get back to you guys as soon as I get onto the next spot. Okay guys, we're coming around, but you can see like now, if I stop paddling, I just freeze because of the current. But it's just weird back up in here because there's like fencing, like wood fencing, like right on the bank. Just seems weird. I don't know why they would It's just on this side, but it's kind of weird. I don't know why they would have fencing right there, and most of it's gone anyways. But this over here is an island. I mean, it's on the new map, but there's a little island here, but there's not enough water on the other side to even paddle through it. So hopefully we can get through this. But a lot of times after a flood, you know, creeks and rivers will change their route and it'll go a different route. And that might have been what happened. Yeah, I got a feeling I'm gonna have to get out with this pulling me right now. But I'll probably get out and I'll check this island a little bit here. See if I can find anything on it. But I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, we're coming up on the main road. So basically the farm is right here, the farmhouse. I mean, you can't see it, but it's basically right over that. I mean, in a way I can see it peeking through there. I can see like a chimney. But there's like this part up here is like a town that's named after the guy that used to own it like in 1840. And I think the reason they might have named a town after him because he's the one that opened, his son, when he passed away, his son opened up that mill, and they were a distillery and they made whiskey. And I guess that's what made the family rich. But then I think like right around Prohibition, the government must have been taxing liquor a lot. And they said that, what I read is the taxes got so high on the liquor that they ended up having to, they went bankrupt. So I think they probably were doing that to, you know, encourage people not to drink right before Prohibition. And I'm almost sure that's why they would do that. I don't know how much the taxes was on a bottle or anything like that, but I think it was like, I think a gallon of whiskey was like 20 cents. Because I seen something about the guy, there's another town that's close to here called Obetz, and the guy that they named that town out used to come down here to get his whiskey, and it said he was paying 20 cents a gallon. So whiskey back then, this is about 1840, and you know, between 1840 and probably 1890 or so. And I think that's, since the guy was rich, more or less, there's a little town, just a little, like I would say like a village, and it's named after the people that owned it before the owners that own it now. So the people that own the farm now, they've farmed it for over 100 years. So they bought it like in 1928, and the person that bought it, the girl that I actually got the permission from, that's the original owner's great-great-granddaughter is who it is. And I was coming down through, there was one spot I was going to give up and go back. You know, but I was like, I know I told you guys I was, and we're basically right at the end of that map. So this is that road right here. So basically the field is not even, I mean, like a rock throw from here is the field that will be metal detecting in. So the road that you turn on to where the field's at is the road that this bridge is on. I'll probably go a little bit further since now the water ain't that bad. But a lot of that, I ended up having to wade up to my waist to get through some of that. But it's like the current's too much for me to paddle in it. So I couldn't, then it got real bad there for a minute, and I was just going to give up and turn back. Then it was like somehow the light was shining on the bank and the trees. It looked like there was a wall. I could have swore I seen like a wall like this over here, how this pillar is. I seen that way back there. Then when I got up on it, there was nothing there. It was like a tree laying there, but the way the sun was hitting it, it looked like there was a wall in there, and I was curious what it was. But you can tell this bridge here. But I still have yet to find, I don't know if this was, I have yet to see a low crossing area. I mean, just because the water's shallow and I'm in a kayak, doesn't mean, I'm talking about somewhere where people with wagons, you know, so at one time there wasn't no bridge here, and they had to cross the, you know, it was a river back then, but they had to cross it. And it said south of the house. Well, the house is right there, so it would have been back the way we just came. But I didn't see anything like that. But maybe they just, I don't, like I said, maybe you know, where the water's washed out the banks and there's just no bank, because these banks ain't been cut. These are just washed out, and you can tell because they're not, you know, they ain't cut smooth. And plus out here, I seriously doubt if they would even come out here. But I noticed that the schools over here are really nice, man. The town obviously has a little bit of money, but I just think they're making a lot of money off the farms, and now they're more or less, most of those big farm fields are putting housing developments in. So I think they used the money that they were getting off the taxes from the farmers, and they developed it, you know, because you got to have nice schools and stuff so people will move in there. And I think that's what they did. And because the schools are just unreal. I mean, the schools down there are better than the ones over where I live. But we're coming up on the old train bridge here. But this bridge ain't that old. I mean, this might be, I'd say this bridge here is like late 1800s, maybe early 1900s, because it's made out of steel. But this definitely ain't been here as long, because I know the station, so when that dude, so maybe it is, maybe this is a newer bridge, and there's, well, I can see some kind of block up here, but I know the trains, they used to have a train station in this little village, and that's when they named it. So they named it, the reason they had to name it because they put the train station in. Then that's when they named it out after the person that owned it. I don't know if he had passed away by then, but it's named after him, his last name. It's not his first name. So maybe he had already passed away. But this bridge is pretty old. It just ain't, like I said, it's got to be like late 1800s, early 1900s. But there's some block over here, so. But I'm gonna go ahead and paddle up there, and I'll get back to you guys if I see something that I can tell that part of it was made in the early or like the mid 1800s. But I'll get back to you guys. Okay guys, there's actually two bridges back here. So this one here is the 1860s. And you can see it's been redone. They're probably still using it today, but you can tell, I mean, like this pillar here, this was probably the original. And then there's like a wall over here that it would have went into. But then it looks like but you never know, maybe there was two tracks running in here. But this is obviously, this is the 1860s. Then that one over there looks old too. It's just weird, maybe there was two tracks running in here. Then this concrete over here is where they redid it. But this here is old. It's cool, you know, because I've never been here before, you know, so when I go on when I make these videos, I've never been in this water. I've never even been on this creek before in my life. So everything's new to me. So when I go back here, that's why I like it. I mean, I don't like getting into where I have to get out of the kayak, but I don't know how the water's gonna be. But I mean, it's just cool cruising through. It's like, it feels like I'm an explorer or something. But you can see the other bridge up here. I don't think that one's that old. I think that one's, like I said, it's either late 1800s or early 1900s because it's made out of steel like that. I mean, I wouldn't think they would make them out of steel. I mean, when I went by it, it's pretty wild looking, but I don't think it's that old. I mean, if someone knows how old it is, let me know in the comment section. But I know the one behind us, that one's definitely 1860s. And that's basically the reason they turned this into a village, because there was a station here where people could get on and travel. And there might have been two, you know, a train going one direction and then the one going out. But you can't really tell, you know. I know before we got to the train, when we were by where the farm's at, you know, the family I got the permission from, they own all that land. And that's why I was going to give up too, because I knew I could get out. I got that, well, I didn't bring it with me actually, but I got that like cart. But that's what I thought about. But I mean, she was pretty, you know, she did make a point, because I told her I was thinking about kayaking through here, and she told me where to go, that her family really don't like people parking down there and getting in there in the water and stuff. So I didn't even want to go up on that land, because I haven't even started on that permission. So we'll be there next weekend. I mean, if it rains or something, hopefully it doesn't rain both days. But I mean, at this time of year, this is the best time to metal detect that kind of stuff. And I guess the field's just ready, so I think it'll be an easy field to detect. It just don't take a long time. I mean, it's a lot of work. And I know there was 2 houses. If you see that map, there was 2 houses in that area that were metal detecting. But if I get bored, I'll jump down and go to where that school's at, because I'm pretty sure I can detect that without even getting permission. I mean, if I go down there and someone says something to me, I'll leave. But because I've met a few people since I've been here, because I always talk a lot. And like I said, I know the caretaker of the graveyard now, and he's actually a retired fireman from the town. And yeah, I don't think I'll have any issues. So well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. But if anybody knows how old this bridge is here, just let me know in the comment section. I mean, it's made out of steel. Here, let's go up a little closer to it so you guys can see it. I'm thinking maybe, I mean, at the oldest, I think like 1890s. But I didn't even see the other one. So when I came up on this one, then I noticed the other one in the back. Then that's how I knew that that was the one, the original one from, that's why they named the town. But I mean, it's pretty wild looking. That's why all this stuff's getting caught here. I mean, look how they made it. I don't know if a lot of it's been torn away from flooding. I mean, it looks primitive, but I don't think it's that old. I mean, this here's concrete. I mean, it's kind of eerie looking though, huh? But if you guys know how old that is, let me know in the comment section. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Thanks a lot. Bye.
One evening as the sun went down, the jungle fires were burning. Down the track came a hobo hummer. He said, boys, I'm not returning. Headed for a land that's far away, beside the crystal fountain. I see you all this coming fall at the Big Rock Candy Mountain. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain, there's a land that's fair and bright, where the handouts grow on bushes and you sleep out every night, where the boxcars all are empty and the sun shines every day. Oh, the birds, the bees, and the cigarette trees, the whiskey springs, and the bluebird sings in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain, all the cops have wooden legs, and the bulldogs all have rubber teeth, and the hens lay soft-boiled eggs, and the farmers' trees are full of fruit, and the barns are full of hay. I'm bound to go where there ain't no snow, where the sleet don't fall and the wind don't blow, in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain, you never change your socks, and the little streams of alcohol come trickling down the rocks, where the shacks all have to tip their hat and the railroad booms are blind. There's a lake of stew and a whiskey too, and you can paddle all around in the big canoe in the Big Rock Candy Mountain. In the Big Rock Candy Mountain, all the jails are made of tin, and you can bust right out again as soon as they put you in. There ain't no shorthand shovels, no axes, saws, or picks. I'm going to stay where you sleep all day, where that boiling oil, the inventor of